All right, so Gladiator, of course, unless you've been living under a rock, if you're somebody who's my generation, of course, uh, you've seen Gladiator in 2000. It was a huge summer hit in May of 2000. Uh, Won an Oscars, 5 Oscars, right, including the Best Actor, Russell Crow. So 24 years later, right? 24 years later, um, I saw this trailer and I've been watching it, and I know Pedro Pascal and Denzel Washington. It's in there. Um, Look, I love Ridley. You know, Ridley Scott. I love his movies, and I like everything that he does, especially him and his brother Tony, Anthony, and Ridley. I mean, may Anthony rest in peace. He passed away in 2012. Um, they have brought us. I don't think Hollywood would be Hollywood without Scott brothers. You look at the amount of movies that Ridley Scott and Tony Scott have brought to the Hollywood, man. The Hollywood would not be the same without Scott brothers. Scott Free Productions. Um, they worked with Jerry Bruckheimer. They brought the Top Gun and Crimson Tide and Enemy of the State and so many different movies. American Gangster. This is the second time for Ridley Scott to work with Denzel Washington, because he worked with Denzel on very successful movie American Gangster, and I really love that movie, man. American Gangster is one of my all-time favorites for sure. Just a great, even though I know it's based on true story, but it was just the way Denzel played that role, and the way Lucas Black, the way he played Lucas Black, the way the movie was filmed, everything was just done so well. And of course, Ridley Scott is the master when it comes to designing these worlds, bringing them to life, right? He's just a master of design and bringing everything vibrantly to life. He transforms you into that life. He transports you into that life. You become the gladiator. You become in that time period, right? He, like, if you look at his movies like Kingdom, what was that? The one in 2004, the Kingdom of Heaven, right? The Knight Templars, right? It was just Crusaders, right? Crusaders, Knight Templars, Crusaders, going to Jerusalem, right? The holy place. To whom does the Jerusalem belongs to, right? All of that stuff. Ridley Scott. It will go down in history as one of the all-time greats for sure. You can put him right there next to Steven Spielberg, Francis Ford Coppola, James Cameron, Bob Zemeckis. You can put him out there next to Stanley Kubrick for sure. There's no question about that. But Ridley's getting old. He's gonna be 90 pretty soon. He's like 80, 88, 89. He's like 89 years old. In November, his birthday, it's in November. He's going to be 90. And look, I have great respect for Ridley Scott. The list of movies that he has created, him and his brother, man, it's we could spend the entire day just going throughout all the movies that they have brought to the Hollywood. Like I said, Hollywood wouldn't be a Hollywood if it wasn't for Scott brothers. So I'm not like knocking Ridley, because I'm a huge fan of Ridley. I love Ridley. I also loved his brother Tony. Excellent film directors and inspiration. Okay, so I'm not trying to knock on Ridley at all, but I do have to admit a couple of things here. Um, and looking at the 28,000 dislikes, as you can see right here, right over here, 28,000 dislikes. That's quite a lot of dislikes. And it was released 3 days ago. It's got 1 million views. Um, I know it has Pedro Pascal, it has Denzel, It has that, you know, gladiator feel to it, right? You know, it's Ridley Scott. He knows how to make these movies, okay? So there's that aspect of it, right? And no one is denying, uh, the epic scale and vision. I'm pretty sure this movie will look epic in scale, will look amazing. It's gonna it's gonna be breathtaking because that's just the way Ridley Scott is. When he designs, dude, nobody designs the world better than Ridley Scott, right? So there's no question about that. You're going to feel a sense of remarkable, epic, atmosphere. You're gonna feel like you're really in Rome, right? And it's just the same director who obviously directed the first original movie. So what am I trying to say here? Here's what I'm trying to say. Um, Original Gladiator movie with Russell Crowe. Okay, it's let's be honest. It's a one of the greats. Okay, Roman movies ever. I guess next to Spartacus. Why was it so great? Because it was so original. When Ridley Scott, DreamWorks Pictures, and Universal Pictures, when DreamWorks Pictures, which is Steven Spielberg, company, when DreamWorks Pictures and Universal Pictures decided to make the Gladiator movie with Russell Crowe, younger Russell Crowe back then. He was coming fresh out of LA Confidential, so it was just like perfect. And of course, the movie, another movie that he has done with Michael Mann called The Insider with Al Pacino, which was great in '99. And now coming into 2000, Russell Crowe was just a big star, man. He was already a big star, but this movie Gladiator was just made him even bigger star. All right. And then Beautiful Mind that came out after that with Ron Howard, right? So the reason the first Gladiator movie was so great, it's because it was original story. The casting, Richard Harris, right? The great late Richard Harris, Russell Crowe, Joaquin Phoenix, man, the way he played the Emperor. I mean, he should have gotten an Oscar for that. Forget the Joker, forget Napoleon, all these other movies that he's done. I'm sorry, but he should have gotten an Oscar for the way he played the Emperor, the way he played that crazy, jealous lunatic of the whole thing was like poetic, man. It was just poetic. And then the Hans Zimmer score. Are you kidding me, man? How do you top? My question is this: how do you top that? How do you get even close to that? How could you even get close to that? How do you go above that bar that was risen so high? And so my question is this: did Gladiator need a sequel? And I know it took me almost 9 minutes and 19 seconds to get to that point. Did Gladiator need a sequel? And in my humble opinion, it did not. And I think Russell Crowe feels the same way. Even though he didn't say it like directly, specifically, hey, I don't think they should have made Gladiator 2. Although he feels kind of ways about it, because Gladiator is a very personal movie for him. The relationship between him and Ridley Scott really started in the Gladiator movies. And of course, they're great friends. Him and Ridley, they have a lot of respect for each other. But again, the question here is, did Gladiator needed a sequel? Did it needed a sequel? And I don't know. I don't think so. I really don't think the movie needed a sequel. I think the movie was great the way it was, because this is going to feel like a episode 2 or something. Like, it's going to feel like almost like a TV show in a way. I mean, honestly. And then they could continue with the Gladiator 3, Gladiator 4, and they're going to turn into some kind of a franchise. I don't like it, man. I think and I think that's why a lot of people are hitting dislikes. Certain movies, you got to leave it alone. Steven Spielberg said it the best. He says, I will never make a sequel to E.T. And I think he has signed a legal, some kind of legal papers where no one can make a sequel for the E.T. So the sequel for the E.T. will never be made. You know what I mean? So, and I feel the same way about the Gladiator. You know what? A Dutch director, Paul Verhoeven, yet another great film director, Paul Verhoeven, was asked this question many, many times. With the success of RoboCop, 1987, it was a 1986 RoboCop. With the success of 1986 RoboCop, why you never made a sequel? And he says, in his Dutch accent, well, I already done it so great. Well, how can I make it better than it already was great? And he's right. He's right. And he's absolutely right. Regardless of how you feel about, Paul Verhoeven, right? I respect him because I respect artists that stick to their beliefs. Like, hey, this is what I believe. Okay? I don't care what you think or what you think or what you think. This is how I feel. I can't make RoboCop any better than what I already made it. And he said it. I can't make RoboCop any better than what I already have made it. It has the original story. Everything's original. How do I top that? I can't top that. It's the same thing with the Gladiator. How do you top something that was so great the first time around? How? How do you top that? You can't. Now, don't get me wrong. It's going to be a decent sequel. It's going to make some decent numbers. But it's not going to be like Oscar winning and this and that. It's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. So I know Denzel's in it. I know Pedro Pascal's in it. But even Denzel and Pedro will not be able to save this movie. And again, I love Ridley. I love Ridley Scott. I love him. But I think even Ridley knows deep down, like, I think Ridley's just bored. He's 90. The guy's going to be 90, and I think he's just bored. And he's got money. Dude, he's all set. He doesn't need the money, okay? But he's just like, I need something to do. And he was like, let's make a Gladiator 2. Because if you look at his previous movies, like Napoleon and some other movies that he has done, it hasn't been that, like, great. Like, I feel that the Ridley Scott has lost that touch of originality, right? Because he's older, man. He's 90, man. He's almost 90. I think he's 89 years old, and he's going to be 90 this November. That's when his birthday is. His birthday, it's around the same time, November 15th, right? I think it's November 18th. I think his birthday is November 18th, but it's November 15th. It's the... I know his birthday is in November. I know that Ridley Scott's birthday is in November, so he's going to be 90. Listen, I love Ridley. I love him. I love Ridley Scott. But I don't know, man. I'm going to see the movie. I mean, I'll let you know what I think when I see it. But I understand why people are hitting dislikes, because I don't feel that the Gladiator ever needed a sequel. I'm just being honest. I don't think the Gladiator ever needed a sequel. I think I understand why people are hitting a dislike, you know. But hey, the movie's already done. The movie's made. We'll watch it. We'll see how it is. Uh, is it going to be better than the first one? No way. There's no way. There's no way. The first one is the greatest, and that's it. This is going to be a-okay. It's going to be okay. But it's not going to be anything that's going to be like, oh, wow. Wow. You know. No. It's going to be okay. You'll have some fun. That's it. There's going to be some dramatic stuff in there. You know, but it's not going to have that same soul. You know, Peter Weller talked about this. The movie's got to have a soul behind it. First Gladiator had a soul behind it, with Russel Crowe and Maximus Decimus Illyrius, the great general who became the Gladiator, and the Gladiator who defied the Emperor. Right? I mean, the movie had a soul. Same thing with RoboCop. RoboCop had a soul. You can't change that. You can't replace that. And I feel certain movies, they're just so good. They have that soul. That spirit soul. And you can't mimic that. You can't replicate that. I'm kind of passionate about it. Because I love movies, you know. But I'm not surprised that the movie's getting 28,000 dislikes. That's all I'm going to say. And again, I love Ridley, okay? But I'm just trying to be honest here. I really just want to be honest about the Gladiator. I know it's what, 17 minutes already, guys. I'm sorry, but I have so much to say. And this is how I feel. I'll watch the movie. We'll see after the movie. My opinions can change. I hope I'm wrong. Listen, I hope I'm wrong. And I hope that this turns out to be a really good sequel. But we'll have to wait and see. Okay? All right, guys. Let me know what you think. Leave a comment down below. No, I'm just curious. Let me know what you guys think. Now that you know what I think, let me know what you guys think. Let's start the conversation down below. Thank you.